Welcome everybody. I've got Weston from Big Nerd Gaming to do a this month in video game update for the month of February. We're also going to look back on January and kind of what happened in January, what games are coming out in February. Is it safe to say, Weston, that February might be one of the coolest months for video games in like a long time?
It's up there. There's it's one of those if you're a hardcore gamer, it's one of those months where it's like you got to make hard decisions, and like the game that comes out first that you might not even be as hyped for might just get precedence. It's just it's tough out there, man. Tough calls, tough cuts got to be made, but
Time
hope
is finite. That's one of the things I realized that, like, if I put 100 hours into a game, that's a lot of evenings and Saturday mornings because that's where my gaming slices are. It's just a lot of time.
if you're a hardcore gamer, it's like someone like me that's trying to constantly play everything. Those games are like, yeah, they're great, but they kind of give you nightmares because it's like that's 5 games I missed out on because I went into this one game. So said
Yeah.
it's tough out there, man. It's tough.
Well, let's get to the first game on our list. And by the way, if you guys want to read more of Weston's stuff, I'll link to his website. All of his socials are in the video description. I really enjoy your lists and constant stuff coming out. So one of my favorite reads. Monster Hunter Wilds is the first game that we are stoked about. I got a little into the Monster Hunter crap. I don't even know which one it was. Like maybe
Uh,
two Monster Hunters ago. It was just a fun like online game to kind of play.
Worlds maybe that was the last big
World,
one.
I think that was it. Yeah,
Yeah, that one sold over 25 million copies. So yeah, I
I
mean
was one
it's
of them.
yeah, you were one. You were important. You were important to their sales, Matt. Yeah, I mean it's one of the biggest franchises in the world. Co-op action RPG. I mean, you know it, pretty basic formula. You kill monsters, you get better stuff. You kill bigger monsters, and you could do it with your friends. I think the big hook with this game is it's supposed to be a little easier for newcomers to get on board because I'm one of those guys that's always had a hard time getting into this series, but I'm optimistic this might be the one that gets me going on it too.
Yeah, I also had a hard time getting into Monster Hunter World. It was like fun, but it also just felt like, is this all there is? You just kill monsters and get better stuff and upgrade your equipment, and then kill monsters, and then you upgrade a new thing on your chart, a new move.
Yeah, I think that's what always has kind of thrown me off from it. But I mean, the production values look incredible. The gameplay looks really crisp. Uh, and I guess if you have friends to play with, I mean, if the company's good, that makes any co-op game better. So yeah, this one looks like it's like guaranteed game that's getting like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10s from everyone. So it should be good.
Yeah, I appreciate these games existing because I also feel like they inherently improve combat engines, right? It's just like they get a little bit better, and like I think that is also a mark for other companies. Like, oh, see how they did it well. Like the combat's crisp, especially look with multi-party stuff. Like I remember playing like the original WoW, and it's like combat was not good,
No.
but like, at the time. Um, but anyways, the next game that we're excited about. By the way, do you know the release date for Monster Hunter Wilds?
I want to say it's late. I want to say it's like 28th or so.
It's a good day for it. All right. Next on our list, I don't know anything about this game. Pirate Yakuza, Like a Dragon in Hawaii. Sell me on this game.
So this is an open world brawler RPG. Uh, this is a long running series, but this is going to be kind of a standalone story. Uh, like these big open worlds, like you explore Hawaii, usually Japan. There's a bazillion mini games. Like there's a golf mini game, and most of these games there's like bowling, and they're all really well made. But I think the biggest selling point to this one, did you ever play probably one of the most famous Assassin's Creed games, Black Flag?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the one that most people love with the pirate mechanics and stuff. This game, they're famous for this. They randomly like will insert a whole new game within their game, basically. Like the last Like a Dragon game had basically an Animal Crossing game just randomly in it, and it was actually pretty good. So this one looks like basically a whole ship building, ship management thing. Like you can get a crew, you can level them up, you can level up your ship, you can get weapons. You sail on the modern day seas of Hawaii doing pirate stuff. It's bizarre. It's weird. It's very Japanese, but it's got that sort of zany appeal to it. So if you're the long running fans of the series are very hyped for this one. I wonder if I think the ship stuff could be fun for anyone that's enjoyed Black Flag.
My question to you, is it possible to have too many mini games? So I thought Final Fantasy Part 2 had too many mini
Rebirth.
games.
I love mini games, man. I don't know. I'm someone. Listen, I'm always playing new games, so I'm always someone that just likes kind of likes to mix it up. Like I don't like to get
Yeah.
too bogged down in one thing. So those breaks are nice to me. But I mean, the mini games got to be good, right? Um, which I thought Rebirth had pretty good mini games, but uh, this series is famous for having very well made video mini games. So
Okay.
it
Well,
it and you can take them at your own pace. You know, you don't really have to play most of them, so you can just ignore them if you want.
I mean, I'm also kind of famous for getting lost and just like only focusing on a mini game. Like I beat Gwent very thoroughly in Witcher 3. Like
Great game, great game. Yeah,
Queen's
well,
Blood as well. Like, I love a good mini game.
these games tend to have massive checklists, and the mini games are part of them, and like accomplishing challenges within each mini game. So that might be dangerous for you. So be careful.
Okay. All right, I gotta know what I'm committing to. All right, the last game in February that we're excited about here, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I never played the first one, but I always thought it looked really cool because it's like a first person medieval game, right?
Yeah.
Like that's and so what do you know about this game?
So yeah, to dumb it down, think Skyrim, big first person open world RPG, but grounded in reality. They're going for 1400s in Bohemia, and you're not some super soldier in these games. You're just like a normal guy, who kind of gets thrust into conflict, but you're no one special, right? So that's that's kind of the hook with these games, which is really unlike anything else out there. Uh, the first game I did play, it was incredibly immersive. Like just walking around, I remember just kind of being in awe at the time. Like just like there's all these notes, and the mini game that the game has is like from that era. Like just you kind of felt like you're in that era walking around. Now, actually playing it got pretty clunky. It was a little awkward. I believe it was a rookie outing from the developer. It's been what 7 years. Uh, this game looks like, and they gave reviewers this game like a month early. So there's a lot of signs that I think they might have gotten better, and this could be something special. If based off what I played with the first game, if they can clean up the gameplay, this game is going to be really cool.
I hope they do like a hyper realistic thing where most of the population's illiterate, right? And it's like you can barely read the notes and signs because you haven't learned your letters either. Like,
Yeah, think about that. You level up your literacy, and then all of a sudden you can start reading the notes. I think we're onto something.
okay, that actually could be a decent mechanic. But yeah, I can't imagine the literacy rate in 14th century Bohemia was like above 10%. Like,
Yeah, I'm not
don't
sure if
expect
this game
me.
gets into the nitty gritty of like the diseases and whatever the hell else they were dealing with at that point, but
You get one annual bath.
yeah,
Uh,
that's yeah. I think it's realistic, but maybe not that realistic, which might be for the best. It is a video game, right?
so this is actually the first one to come out. This comes out on the 4th, I think, February 4th.
Yeah, what by the time this is up, I imagine this will be out. But so I'll be all in on it at that point. And I'm just even if I don't love it, like how it plays, I almost guarantee like for at least a week I'll just be just enamored with the world, and just kind of drawn into the world. Then we'll see if I get to that point where like, okay, I don't actually like playing this game though. But I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic.
I'm getting a little excited thinking about it. I just like I need it. I'm between games right now, and I feel like I need something kind of immersive to just toy around in a medieval Bohemia.
They said even the first one, like that was one of the more immersive games I've played. And yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like I've been holding off on starting new games because of this apocalypse of games that's about to start. And February 4th is my day where it's just boom, I'm all in.
Okay. All right. So that's the three games for February that we're kind of excited about. Honestly, all three of those I could see getting into myself. But taking a quick look back at last month, which was January, obviously the big thing that happened is Switch 2 was sort of announced or leaked in like 2 minutes because there were so many leaks already out there. It was like the most obvious thing ever that Switch 2 was coming out. But what else kind of happened in gaming? So you want to talk about Ninja Gaiden 2 Black? I played the original a long time ago.
Yeah, so Xbox had their developer direct where they showcased different games, and one of the games they showcased was Ninja Gaiden 4. So we have a new Ninja Gaiden game on the way, supposed to be this year. In the same presentation, they shadow dropped Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which is just a remastered version of that game. Uh, I haven't been able to touch this one yet, but considered one of the best action games of all time. And by all accounts, it's a good remaster. You know, a couple things maybe haven't aged the best after all these years, but a lot of people having a lot of fun with it, and it's on Game Pass if you're a Game Pass guy.
Yeah, I mean, that's always good. I mean, Xbox. I don't own an Xbox, so I might be close out of this one. So the missing part of the triumvirate. of-
Yeah, I mean all the Xbox games are kind of coming to other consoles these days, so you're good there.
yeah,
But Game Pass has said as a very frequent gamer, Game Pass saves me like hundreds and hundreds of dollars a year.
I was going to ask you at some point what your annual video game budget was, but that could be it.
Yeah, I don't want to figure it out.
All right, next. I don't know anything about this games, but
Yeah.
Enter Mongolia.
Yeah, so I know on the
Magnolia.
last video a
I
lot of
can
people
read
are like,
Magnolia.
yeah,
Yeah.
Ender Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist. Yeah, I know in the last video a lot of people are like, I don't even know what any of these games are. January is one of the slowest months in video games, so we're diving deep. We're going into indies. That's really all that released last month. It's all in on February, but basically, if you played the old Castlevania games like Symphony of the Night or the old Game Boy Advance games, it's that kind of game. It's a Metroidvania. Um, it's not quite like Castlevania, but kind of feels like that in a lot of ways. A little more anime though. It I'm having quite a bit of fun with it. It's pretty well made, like all around. The exploration, the combat, it's all solid. Like not going to say it's a world beater, but in a slow January, it's been a good game for me.
And honestly, these winter months, they're slow for everything, right? It's like
Right.
kind of the worst time for TV, the worst time for everything, and then you got to wait for spring for kind of the good stuff.
Does anything release
Um,
in January for the card games?
there was just a new set that came out. Usually, there's like with collecting in general, there's usually kind of like a post Christmas like thinning out. Like people just kind of like glutted a little bit too much, or like kind of felt that they spent too much on Christmas, so everyone's like more conservative in
Right.
Q1, like with all stuff.
Right.
Usually, kind of like the good stuff's in like mid spring into like early summer, right?
Right.
When nerds don't want to be outside because it's too hot.
Yeah, I mean, same with video games, right? Everyone tries to get in for the award season rush in November / Christmas sales. So January is just it's dead. But said you get a couple games,
Yeah. All right, the last one on our list here, Citizen Sleeper 2.
Yeah,
Um,
sorry.
tell me about it. I don't know anything.
Yeah, this is
Cool
this
art.
is real nerdy stuff here. This is a visual novel with tabletop dice mechanics. So uh, you play as a sleeper, and that means a certain corporation you owe them too much money. So they implant your mind into a robot body and then wipe your past memories, so you can work off your debts in like more dangerous conditions. Very like hardcore science fiction story. Said visual novel, so a lot of reading. So not for those who don't want to read, but really cool story. The dice mechanics are cool. It's kind of unlike anything else out there. Uh, I beat it. It's like a 8-9 hour game. Uh, my favorite game from January. Once again, not much, but was out there in January. But still, really, if you're into that kind of thing, this is really well done.
What system is this on? Sort of everything.
Yeah, I believe it's on everything. I played it on computer. I think the mouse kind of fits with it, but I played the first game on console. It's actually once again on Game Pass for those who have that.
Well, those are all the games that we have for January. I think it's going to be interesting to look back in February and see how all these games kind of came out. And then March, I think we're going to accelerate kind of in the new year with lots of new stuff in sort of March, April. One notable thing that was supposed to be February is the new Assassin's Creed, which is not in February, right? It got pushed to March, I believe.
Yeah, it was February. Now it's March. So yeah, that's in March. There's a couple others in March. Yeah, March, April, May, and February all look booked. June, July are usually slower-ish months, and then it ramps back up after. Uh, I don't know why they're not taking advantage of these nerds that want to stay inside in the summer, but those
Because
tend
sun burns. It burns me badly.
the summer is actually really good for indie games. Like all the biggest indie games tend to come out in summer because I mean those are usually the nerdier games, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, no, we talked about it last time, but this legitimately could be one of the best gaming years of our lives. So I'm excited, and I will not be looking at my budget.
I'm gonna also not look at my budget. Well, Weston, thanks for hanging out, man. Check out his stuff. We're gonna try to do this every month. If you like this, please like, subscribe, check out Weston's channels. He's got lots more content on video games. We're gonna try to do this every month just to kind of check in on video games a little bit. But if you have other ideas, we're always happy to hear them and take requests. But that's all we got for today. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We'll see you later.